Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do something a little bit different. I've never done one of these videos before and I see a lot of them popping up here on YouTube. This is going to be a video that is mostly new products. I did just come back from Sephora not too long ago and I scooped up some stuff, so I want to do a first impressions as I am doing the tutorial. It is this look that I have on right now, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Bye guys. First I'm going to start with priming my face. I'm going to use a primer that I've had in my collection because I don't have any ones that are new. So I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Porefecting Primer. This one's a really good one. I'm just going to be putting it all over. Now I'm going to prime my eyelids because I'm going to start with my eyes. I'm going to be using my Kat Von D High Voltage Eye Primer because there's just no other eye primer that I'm willing to try pretty much. And I'm going to be using a new concealer. I think I'm going to be using the one from Pretty Vulgar. This is in the color 6L1C. It's the undercover concealer. So I like the applicator. I love the doe foot applications because for me it's a little bit easier to displace the product. And it is nice to kind of carve out areas and get into those hard to reach areas, so I do like that. The only downside to any kind of product using a doe foot applicator or anything that you reapply into the bottle is bacteria, so of course you want to make sure that your body parts are clean wherever you're using the product. So far the color match is looking pretty good. I did think that the brand had a good selection of colors because I do believe they had two shades that were deeper than my skin tone. So I love the options they had for women who are a little bit deeper in skin tone. And this feels pretty lightweight on the skin. I want to say it's more of like a medium coverage, not so full. But I did read that it was buildable, so that's a plus. And it was pretty easy to blend out, so that's definitely another plus. So I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation Powder, and I'm going to use this to set that area as per usual. So the last thing I probably should be buying is eyeshadow, but I am a sucker for eyeshadows. I love eyeshadows. Those are one of my favorite makeup products to purchase. I love blushes, I love eyeshadows, and I love highlights. Those are my top 3 things that I am a sucker for when it comes to purchasing anything, no matter drugstore or high-end. The eyeshadow palette that really caught my eye was this one by Tarte. This is the Make Believe in Yourself eyeshadow palette, and I saw this all over Instagram for like quite some time, but it never really interested me because I was like, these are just normal colors, and I just was walking past and I just swatched a couple shades, and the pigmentation on these were insane, like super blinding and foiled. So I thought that was really, really nice, and I wanted to get my hands on it because it's something that really interests me because it looked like something that was more than your typical metallic blue, purple, whatever these shades are in here. I felt like they were a little bit more up to the amp, and I like the color selection because it's a little bit more than neutral and it kind of wants to take me out of my comfort zone. So I see that they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, and then 10 eyeshadows, and then in the middle is a crystal eyeshadow, I guess, that you can use as a cheek topper or highlight or whatever. This is supposed to be for the cheeks, and for the eyes, I think for myself, I'm gonna use this more on the eyes more than anything else, in the inner tear ducts and stuff. It's got like great highlight. It's got one matte shade in here, which is going to be your transition shade, I'm assuming, so I think that was a really great concept. This eyeshadow palette is mostly glitters and shimmers and foiled shades. There's only one matte, which I said was the transition shade. It would have been kind of cool if they would have put like a black or a dark brown, just to kind of give something to deepen up your outer corners if you want to smoke it out that way instead of adding only shimmers. But I am impressed with the pigmentation of them when I swatch it. So I'm going to start with the color Myth right here, which is your like mauve transition shade. I'm actually pretty pleased with the color selection because it's a really great color that I think is going to work for women who are lighter and darker in skin tone. So it's perfect, actually. I love it. They did a great job with picking a transition shade. Good job, Tarte. You did one that appeals to all the masses. I feel like this can be used on so many different shades of skin tone, so that's definitely a plus. So far, so good. So let's try and use this. I'm going to use this color Wings, which is like a coppery tone. Okay, so I will say that with a brush, it's not really applying that well. And I did learn with the Huda Beauty ones that they apply better with the fingers. So let's try with the fingers. Okay, so this one's not really wowing me, the shade right here. I will be honest with you. I don't think I swatched this one in the store. I'm going to try to go back in with my brush. I feel like this shade needs a little bit of setting spray, like Fix Plus or something, because it's really not grabbing onto the lids and it's kind of splotchy. What a disappointment, because I was really pumped for this. Let me grab some setting spray so I can wet it and try it again. I'm gonna wet the brush with setting spray, so maybe it will give me a little bit more pigmentation while using a brush. Alright, this color's not working for me, you guys. Like, you can see in the pan, so this is the color I just used right here, and you can see in the pan it's kind of getting that weird texture to it. Right now, I'm really not too impressed with the product, and I really had high hopes for it. I feel like I'm a very hard judge for eyeshadows because I love them so much and I know what kind I like. Let me try spray it and see if I can get a little more pigmentation. Okay, this one's getting a little bit more color payoff with this brush. I'm really having to dig here in the product to get it to lift. Okay, so that is the product. I'm gonna spray a little Fix Plus because I feel like it came out kind of chunky on my lids, just to kind of flatten the product, kind of make it a little more seamless. I will be honest, you guys, I'm really not feeling it right now. And 9 times out of 10, I will be honest and say that I'm not a huge fan of Tarte eyeshadows. I love the brand, just not their eyeshadows. But they did really pull through with the Tarte's Pro palette. Like, I love that palette. That's like one of my go-tos. So I'm going back in with my finger and applying it again. This one's a difficult one. I'm almost positive this is going back, because I feel like that color is like ruined. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with this color called Pixie. It's like an iridescent pink shade. I'm gonna apply this color to the middle of my eyelid using the same brush. This one's applying much better. It was picking up the color much better. Okay, that color I enjoyed. It went on very easy. Didn't have any problems. The only thing is that the color that I placed on before this really made this not as smooth as an application as I would like. Okay. Alright, you guys. Meh. A little on the fence about this guy. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna smooth out the fine lines. I'm really not liking the way my eyeshadow is right now because it just looks a little chunky to me. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but it's not laying flat and it looks like I place a bunch of eyeshadow on top of eyeshadow. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my typical liner and line my eyes. Not even gonna lie, I'm really disappointed with the eyeshadow. Like so far, the one that I applied in the middle was really nice, but that first one was very challenging. And the reason why I'm a little concerned is because I believe there are, let me take a look. It seems to be about 3 to 4 eyeshadows in this palette that are the same consistency as that one right there. So that's like almost half the palette. So I'm gonna apply my mascara. Also, I do not have a new mascara, so I'm just applying a new old one. This one is from Cosmetics. Okay, so that's that so far. I really like the middle color. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into foundation, and the one I got is from Stella Beauty. This one looked really, really cool, and when I swatched it, it looked very promising. I will say that I was a little skeptical because in the packaging, it looked super gray. I picked it up and I said to the girl, like, none of these match me, they're all gray. She's like, no, you can't go based off what you see in the packaging because when you actually squirt out the product, it is a completely different shade. So that's really cool. What I'm going to be using for half my face to apply this product, because I want to see how it applies with a brush and with a sponge, I'm going to be using this sponge right here. This is the Shape and Bake sponge, I believe it's called. I used this only once, so it's kind of halfway like using something completely brand new. So I'm in the shade S18. When I did the swatch of this, it was a pretty good match. It comes in a plastic container and it has a pump. The packaging does feel very cheap, I will be honest. But when I squirted the product out on my hand, I was pretty impressed. I thought it was really nice, and she had a really great selection of colors, so that was really cool too. Okay, so the color match is really good. It's the coverage that is not so full. I honestly don't know what it's acclaimed to be as far as coverage, so I feel very light on the skin, so this one might be pretty good for the summer months. I'm looking at it in the viewfinder, and it's looking pretty seamless. I love the way it feels so light on the skin. It's very lightweight. Definitely a plus, especially since it's getting so hot outside. And I live in South Florida, and it is summer. And Lord Jesus, it's a fire outside every day. Okay, so the half with the sponge is really nice. I will say that the coverage is very light to medium. I applied one pump and it was pretty sheer, I want to say. I'm sure it's buildable, which I'm seeing right now. I have a mark here from a blemish, and I had to put like 2 coats of that on this, and I have one right here as well. Definitely needs more than 1 coat for problem areas. But so far, I really like it. I just love how lightweight it is. It's really nice. Doesn't feel like anything's on the skin. So I'm going to try the second half of my face with a brush. I'm going to be using the Zoeva 104 Buffer, which is like a Sigma Kabuki brush. Except for this one is way better because it's like, I think it's like better quality. I love Zoeva brushes, they're so nice. Okay, so with the brush, I want to say the application is really even. It's blending out really nicely. It feels pretty equivalent to when I apply it with the sponge, so either one is good for me. I will say that this foundation is giving me a dewy cast as I'm applying it, like especially in my cheeks. I can see some dewiness, which I do not mind, but if you're someone who has oily skin, this may not be something you're interested in. So I got two Stellar concealers. These seem to be super full coverage and they felt really nice when I applied them. They kind of reminded me a lot of the Tarte Shape Tape. I got two colors because I felt like I was in between. So we'll see when I apply it how they look. This one's it's a little light. So this is the color S01, which is I think the lightest, which might be a downside for people who are a little bit fair in skin tone, because since this is the lightest, I feel like that might be dark on someone who has a little bit more of a fair skin tone. Let's see how this color looks when I blend it out. Okay, so already I can tell that the coverage is very minimal, which I don't mind for foundation because I could build it up, but I hate putting a lot of product underneath my eyes because I do not want it to get cakey in that area. And I like a more full coverage concealer because I have like dark circles under my eyes. Like a girl needs to sleep more. Alright, do not like this concealer, we'll be honest. Not a big fan. And when I swatched it, it looks so beautiful. I will not even lie to you. If you have amazing skin, this might work for you. But me, not so amazing. You guys, I'm not liking this. You know what this coverage reminds me of? And I didn't like this concealer either. The Becca one. I will say that it's not settling into my fine lines, which is definitely a plus. I'm going to go in with the Pretty Vulgar concealer on top of it because I want to see if this one offers me a little bit more coverage. In the Pretty Vulgar concealer, I am in the color 61C, which I believe is like medium. Right, I can already tell that this one's offering double the coverage of that last one. This one's very blendable, and the Stellar one was too, I will admit that. I just did not like the coverage. This Pretty Vulgar one is pretty nice. And it's giving me much better coverage. Okay, so now I'm going to set that area with my Laura Mercier translucent powder because I don't have a other translucent powder. I'm going to dust off the excess right away because I totally forgot that I bought the Marc Jacobs enhancement drops and I want to apply that to the top parts of my cheekbones. Let's hope that it didn't get too powdery. I'm going to leave directly underneath my eyes, still baked. So I got the Marc Jacobs. This is the Do You Dewdrops Coconut Infused. I'm a huge fan of the coconut primer. So this is a golden shade and I love the color because I felt like that it was very nice and like wearable and a really great color to add into your foundation if you want to mix them together. And it wouldn't look too over the top. Like I felt like it was pretty universal for a liquid highlight. It had like a lot of different things you can use it with. That's cute. It looked like I did belong to some sort of tribe with this. So I will say that the Marc Jacobs Do Me is decent. I don't think it's an absolute must-have right now because it is not as blendable as I would like. This is it on the palm of my hand. It's really pretty, just very natural, which I loved about it. I just don't love that it just, when you apply it, you have to work very quickly. And I feel like I'm just a very hard critic on the liquid highlights because the Cover FX ones are just so good. They work so well and I just have no complaints about them. So I feel like it's made me super skeptical. Okay, so now I'm going to brush off the excess underneath my eyes. That pretty Vulgar concealer was really nice. It just has a very odd smell to it. But other than that, pretty nice. And my face is looking pretty decent. It's very light coverage, very medium coverage, great for the summer. I typically prefer something a little bit more covered, like a more medium to full, just for the simple fact that I do have problem areas in my skin. My skin's cleared up a ton. Like there was one point where every day I was waking up to a breakout. But I've been using my Glam Glow and it's just been doing wonders for me. So I'm going to set the rest of my face now. I'm going to be using the Cover FX powder. This is in medium. This isn't new. I bought this about a week ago and I forgot a setting powder when I went to Minnesota and I got it in medium because I was like, oh, this is great because they have it in more than one shade. So you have your light to medium to dark. And I thought that was nice because sometimes some setting powders can be a little bit too stark for underneath your eyes, make you look ashy or just be way too bright. So I thought that offering different colors was a really great idea from Cover FX. The only thing is that the medium was a little bit too dark to set underneath my eyes personally because it was just at my skin tone. So this one is pretty nice for just setting the face. Very lightweight. I love the way it feels. It looks nice and it keeps my skin pretty seamless. So I'm just going to use this and set the rest of my face. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna be honest right now. I'm not really wanting to keep anything I bought besides the Pretty Vulgar concealer. Like the highlighting drops for $44, I expected them to be amazing. And I knew it was gonna be a natural highlight, but I don't know. So now I'm going to bronze my face. I'm going to be using the Becca Chrissy Teagan palette. I have not used this. A friend of mine got this for me for my birthday. Thank you so much, Annie. And it is beautiful. So that's what it looks like right here. It comes with a bronzer. It comes with a blush and two highlights. One is rose gold and one is that she formulated with Becca. So what I'm going to use from this is the bronzer. And I'm going to bronze my face. No contouring, really just an all over bronze. It looks like it's a deep enough shade for me, which is really nice. Because 9 times out of 10, bronzers in palettes just are way too fair for my skin tone. Okay. I see you, girl. Catering to them women of color. Alright, girl, I see you. So the bronzer is actually really nice. Thank you, Becca. You know I'm a huge fan of Becca for that reason. They do a lot for so many different skin tones, and they offer so much variety. I'm going to go in with a little bit more of a defined brush. The pans, I will say, for the blush and the blush are a little bit small. I would like to have seen it a tad bit bigger because I feel like it's a tiny bit of product. I mean, I love the pans of the highlights. Obviously, they're pretty much equivalent to their normal pans, but it would have been nice, since you're only getting 4 products, to have ones that were a little bit bigger. I think the Jaclyn Hill palette with Becca collaboration was a little bit better laid out as far as that. So I'm just contouring my nose. Very nice. Very blendable. While I'm at it, let me just add a little bit more of definition to the cheeks. Okay, so for highlight, I'm going to go into the Tarte Skin Twinkle Volume 2 palette. I bought this one because I loved the original one. That was like my ride or die for quite some time. I brought it on every trip. It was just so travel friendly. And this one was really cool too because it's got 4 shades. And it seems pretty compact and easy to throw in your bag for traveling. The only downside of this, I will say, are these 2 shades right here. They are a little bit light for my skin tone, especially when I was swatching them, but I really wanted to get it anyway and try it out. So I'm going to go in with this color right here. It's called Candlelight. So beautiful. Beautiful bronzy tone. Looks like it has a lot of like gold undertones. This palette, I will say, is pretty universal because I feel like if you're light or dark, you can use it. You're just limited as to what you can do with it. Pigmentation is good. I like Tarte's highlights a lot. It is a little dusty, so when you put your brush in the pan, you get a little bit of fallout. But this highlight's giving me life right now, like I'm beaming. I still am a huge fan, like my #1 palette of all time right now for highlighting is definitely the Makeup Geek times Taffling Lights. Best highlighting palette of life, I want to say. I wonder if it's still available. So I am just highlighting all the usual suspects. Your cheekbones, Cupid's bow, and tip of your nose and your chin. Let me try add a little bit of the Spotlight, which is the tad bit lighter shade, to my cheekbones. Okay. So this highlight's definitely like almost beaming. Like a 9 out of 10 on the beam scale because it's pretty vibrant. These 2 right here for me are going to be amazing brow bone highlights and inner tear duct highlights, I want to say. So for blush, I'm going to be using the new Benefit California bronzer. I like Benefit's boxed blushes. They're not my favorites, but they are nice. They're super cute packaging. This one wowed me. I really loved the way it looked in the pan. So that is what this looks like up close. Really beautiful. So it's got a little bit of a gold overlay in the pan, and it looks like it's coming off as I applied it to my brush. So let me try to get past that little gold overlay, get color on my brush. So this is like a pinky peachy shade. Really nice looking in the pan. I'm not really seeing, oh, here we go. The color payoff, I wasn't seeing it before, but I'm seeing a little bit now. It kind of looks like it has these finely milled flecks of shimmer in it, which I do not mind. But if you're someone who likes matte blushes, I don't know if this will be up your alley. Okay, I really like this blush. This one so far for me is good, and I love blush, so this one will probably be staying in my collection. Okay. Okay, so my eyes are looking kind of bland right now, so I'm going to run this blue color along my lower lash line to add a little pop of color. Okay, the pigmentation on this is really nice. I really like that combination. Maybe I'll give this eyeshadow palette a second chance. It really didn't start off strong, but maybe I have to play with the eyeshadow because the formulation is a little bit different. I mean, I will be honest and say that the Huda Beauty palette I was not a fan of when I first got it. I was like, this palette sucks. But I played around with the eyeshadows and the formula, and I realized how you have to apply them, and it made it a little bit easier to use. And now I really enjoy that palette, believe it or not. Okay, so there goes my pop of color on the eyes. I'm really digging this. Like, I was like, okay, my eyes look bland, but that blue really brought this eye look to life. Okay, boo. So now I'm gonna go in with my eyeliner and just put some black liner in my waterline. So the center color really appealed to me because it had a lot of iridescence to it. It pulled a little bit of pink, it pulled a little bit of blue, it pulled a little bit of purple. It was gorgeous when I applied it on my skin. So I'm gonna throw this in my inner tear duct using my Zoeva 223 brush. So you can definitely see here that it pulls different colors. I'm seeing a lot of pink right now. Looks really pretty. I will be honest and say that I don't know if this palette would be like so great on the cheeks. Like, I feel like it's a little bit wild for the cheeks, but that's just me. But if you're willing to like be risky, this could be like a fun palette for the cheeks. I don't know. So that inner tear duct highlight is popping right now. What I'm going to do right now is do my brows off camera and come back because I don't have any new brow products. I'm pretty much set in my ways as far as brow products. So I will be right back. So now that I've got my brows on, I'm going to highlight my brow bone. And I'm going to go back into this Tarte palette and see if I could use one of the lighter shades for highlighting that area. So I'm going to use the little bit more gold undertone of the lighter two shades, which is called Daylight. Whoa, that's really intense. Was not expecting it to be so fair, but I'm okay with it. It does look nice, super pigmented. I'm actually okay with it. It's very bright, but I like the most pigmented part to be like right in that arch where it starts to raise. And it's definitely doing that for me. It's kind of like, I don't even know, but I like it. Really nice. So now I'm going to finish up with my lips. I'm going to go in with an oldie. This is the Too Faced Melted Liquid Lipstick. This is in the color Sellout. I did not get any lip products. I don't know why. Okay, so this concludes this first impressions. So I will say that I want to say a good majority of the products I was not super impressed with. I feel like I've been out of the game for a while as far as shopping in Sephora because I've just been trying to not spend my money, but today I went in there and I was just making it rain, you guys, because I was like, oh, I like that. I like that. I want to try that. And I didn't hold back. So I was super excited that I finally had the opportunity to buy some stuff. But I will say that so far, the Tarte palette, I'm like on the fence about. I'm really on the fence about the Marc Jacobs drops because they're $44, so it's a little bit more steeper in the price point. As far as Sephora, I feel like it's one of the higher end brands, and I do feel like it dried really quickly and it didn't blend as well as I would like for it to. And I'm gonna try it mixed in with my foundation. Maybe that will be a little bit better. The Stellar foundation, really nice. I love the way it feels on the skin, super lightweight, really great match for my skin. I feel like it makes me look very seamless. I'm really impressed with it so far, and it's really great for summer, so I feel like this one is pretty nice, I will say that. The concealers, no, those are definitely going back. Do not like them at all. And the Pretty Vulgar concealer, really nice. I feel like that it really pulled through where the Stellar one didn't. And the Becca times Chrissy palette, I really didn't use too much. The bronzer I'm really impressed with. I feel like for me that alone sold me because they have a bronzer that's deep enough for my skin tone. That's something I do have problems with, and they came through. This sponge is definitely really nice. It's a different texture than your typical beauty blender, but it's a little bit more dense, but still really easy to use. It's very, very nice. I love it. I feel like this would be great for carving out areas. It's really nice for getting into those areas and getting you a really nice clean line. Definitely really love the sponge. So yeah, that's pretty much an overview of everything. I like the Tarte palette. On the fence about that because it does have some brighter shades that are very fair, so I feel like I will not get my full use out of this palette as far as the lighter two shades because they are very fair. The only plus side to this is that these two are really nice. Love them, blendable, beautiful, beaming as far as I would like, and these two would be great for brow bones and your tear ducts. So this one's probably gonna stay with me. And the Benefit blush in California, gorgeous. I love it. It gives you such a beautiful flush of color to the cheeks. It's totally up my alley as far as the color because it is a pinky peach, and those tend to do well with my skin tone, and I feel like it's really nice. So far, half and half on my Sephora first impression. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is my first ever video like this. So yeah, let me know what you think down below, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Have a good day.